Hello, welcome back to Bible Talks. And today we are talking about Psalm 23, 4 and 5. It reads, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." First off, God is letting us know that we are never alone, no matter what, and no matter where we're at. It doesn't matter if you're old, young, in a country that you've never been in before, you just moved out of the house and you're going to college, or even if you have kids and it's their first day of school and you're feeling lonely because they're not at home with you. You know, like, he's with you in all circumstances. And he just wants us to know that we don't have to fear evil because he's fighting the battle. It's all in the spiritual realm. And the battle is already won. The war is won, and Jesus would never lie about that. So we just have to trust in him and wait on him and stand firm on the fact that he's there, even if we can't see him or feel him. And no matter what, in the end, it will always be the same. I forget what it is. It's Ecclesiastes. Yeah, and he's like, everything's meaningless because everything is exactly the same. Like, it doesn't matter where you come from, what you're doing, we're all gonna die. And he just wants us to know that we can be with him even after death. He just wants us to accept him now and start living for him now, because it doesn't make sense. Why would we live a life without him just to spend eternity with him? Like, he's not gonna force that upon us, and we have to choose him every single day, even if we don't feel like it, even if we're tired or we want to just do it one last time. It's never gonna work. And I know from personal experience, every day you have to pick up your cross and carry your burden, and it will be so much lighter with Jesus as he's holding it with you, as he's walking with you. When you go on long drives, it's better to have someone in the car with you so you can talk and you can stay awake longer and you will just feel more energized and happy. It's the same thing when you're walking with Christ. It's so much easier to walk in life when you're with him. And that's all he wants from us, is just a relationship. So that way we'll never feel alone and we'll always be content and happy. That way we're able to receive our blessings. And then when you spend more time with someone, you become more like them. So as we're digging into the word and getting to know Jesus, we will become more patient, kind, loving, caring. And when you're these things, it's hard for envy, jealousy, pride, lust, anything to cloud our mind, because we're so much like Jesus that we're not even going to want these things that we once wanted or the way we were once. It's not going to be the same once we get to know Jesus, and that's what he's saying. Psalm 119, 105, it says, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." So Jesus is saying we have to trust him with every step of the way. And in Psalm 23, 5, the second verse, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." So Jesus is saying to step into what he's trying to bless you with. Grow. And as you take those steps, you're going to become this new person, this being that you're going to look at one day and like, wow, I can't believe I used to be this way. That's how I was. That's how I am. Every day I'm growing, and I know I'm going to look back and I'm going to be like, wow, I had to grow before I can fully get my blessing. God loved me enough to be there every step of the way, and he loves you enough too. Sometimes you're in your own way of your blessings. So as you work towards it every single day, getting in your word, listening to worship music, doing a little prayer, praying before you eat, that's something simple. Sickness won't stop me from talking about God. Anyways, so doing that 10-20 seconds before you devour your food, that will go a long way. Because 3 times a day, every day, if you do for 20 seconds, that's 1 minute with God a day. And for people who think that they don't have enough time to spend time with God, you do. 1 minute a day. That's the bare minimum. That's like when you get into a relationship and you want flowers. My boyfriend made me flowers. But yes, that's a different story. But the bare minimum. This is the bare minimum. Flowers on your first date. He wants to treat you right, the way that you want to be treated. And he knows your heart better than you. And if you think that the world has more to offer, God's like, you're silly. You are silly because I made the world. And he knows your heart. He made you. So he knows what the bare minimum is. And he's not a bare minimum God. So he will go above and beyond. He will overflow your cup. So that way, when you look back and you're like, I don't know why I wasn't spending time with you, and why I didn't want to open my eyes and my heart to allow the blessings to come in, you're gonna look back and think you're silly. Me thinking one last time won't hurt. It hurts every time. So taking that step, picking up my cross every day, little things like praying before meals, that's taking a step closer to God, spending that time with him and becoming more like him, so that way we can better represent him. When you were younger and you would go out to school and you would get in trouble, you would get it from your teachers. They're like, what are you doing? You get detention or you get suspended. Then you would go home to your parent and they're like, you are a representation of me. When you go out and do these crazy shenanigans, you come home and now it's a reflection of me. You have to do better. You have to be more like who I know you're meant to be. And when your parent says those things, it's not reprimanding you in a way that makes you feel bad about yourself. It's gently guiding you towards the person that you're meant to be. And then when you look back, you're like, I don't know why I was so upset that I got grounded when I was a fool. I could have done better and I didn't. And that's the same thing with God. When you have the opportunity to sit at the red light, instead of getting angry like, oh, I'm running late, say, hey God, I'm just checking in. I am thankful for blank. Find something to be thankful for that'll help you become the person that you're meant to be, so that way you can receive your blessings and it won't be the bare minimum. Because the more you get to know him, the more you'll realize that he knows you better than you know yourself, and he just wants to love you and have your heart. So yeah, that's really all. Just go out and be more like Jesus, spend more time with him, and that'll help you become more like Jesus. It's not an impossible task. Just spend time with him. He loves you, and I love you. So thank you for listening to my Bible talk. Have a wonderful week.